What is up, guys, and welcome back to Flow State. We are here. Normal service is resumed today for episode 12. Apologies to everyone who's tuning in to the video stream and thinking, why does Luke look a little bit off today? Well, I've just rolled out of bed. Adam's just got back from Boston, well, at least a day ago, but Adam's looking a lot fresher than me, at least. But look, obviously, due diligence first and foremost. We just want to say thank you again to everyone who's been taking the time to not only listen to the pod, but also share, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. So again, always means the world to us. And the more you continue to do that, the more it helps us to grow. So thank you so much for that. But look, like I said, last week we were a little bit kind of off schedule. We had a guest episode with Ant Viglione. And if you haven't listened or watched to that one as yet, we highly recommend you do. But today we are now Friday the 25th in Australian time and on the 24th in UK time. So that is basically 2/3 days away from both London and Ballarat marathons. And Adam and I thought it would be best to basically give you a bit of a shorter episode where we're just kind of going into our thoughts and feelings coming up to the respective marathons, and then we have all kinds of things to go over in upcoming pods, because obviously Adam has just got back from the Boston Marathon, had a wonderful time by the sounds of things, but we'll leave that for different pods. So today, first off, Adam, you've been jet setting and I've been jealous, to say the least. So why don't you fill us up on how Boston was, and how, maybe not how Boston was, but how kind of training was over the week in Boston, and how we're feeling going into London.
Yeah, man. Thanks a million. It's good to talk to you again, and you definitely just pumped a little bit of adrenaline into my system, saying that it's 2-3 days out now from the respective marathons. You've given me a
That
bit
was
of a
the
buzz
plan.
there.
Had to.
Yeah, no, can't wait. And like you said, just back from Boston, had a class trip with Kira, and timing. A lot of people said to me, timing maybe not ideal. From a training perspective, I think timing was pretty good because you're not doing much in the last sort of 10 to 12 days anyhow. And it was a nice way to take my mind off, I suppose, any nerves and things like that. So we had an absolutely brilliant time. Like you said, we'll cover it maybe in another podcast. We do a bit of a travel pod, but for now, I guess I'll stick to the training that I did in Boston, which was quite unique as well. I like where we stayed in Boston was actually on the course. It was in an apartment at mile 23, right between mile 23 and mile 24. So we came out the front door and we were literally on the Boston course, which was just magic. Especially at that point in the race when people have just come off the Newton Hills, they're getting towards the finish. They're really starting to struggle, and you really start to see what marathon running is all about at that point of the marathon. But just an amazing experience, to be honest. Actually, to be there, I've just mentioned the off camera or off the stream, to be there as a spectator and as a fan of the sport, it was magic. It really was. And you know, I think I might have had serious FOMO if I hadn't have been racing London this weekend. But I think the fact that I have London kind of made sure that I was okay. I was happy.
Really don't want to like dwell too much on Boston, but would you say London's bigger than Boston? And it's almost like, oh, I get to go to a bigger marathon. This one's cool, but like London's cooler. What do you reckon?
Yeah, London's they're different. I mean, yes, they're both majors. London is definitely bigger. There's 50 odd thousand people run London. There's 30,000, I think, run Boston. But Boston's special, mate. In the world of marathon running, Boston's probably the most
It's more
special.
select, isn't it?
There's something about Boston, do you know? A lot of history there. It's very unique because it's a point to point course. The Newton Hills are, they're synonymous with marathon running. You've got Heartbreak Hill, and just Boston as a city is an incredible place to be on marathon weekend because it's not a city to the scale of a London or a New York. And so everyone is congregated in one place. So you kind of get this feeling about the place that it's a special place. And I mean, Boston's a special city for running and athletics anyhow, but on marathon weekend, it's incredible. I mean, people that aren't really interested in running and athletics are interested in the Boston Marathon. So it's unique and it's a special place. And I definitely want to go back to do it because, yeah, it's an incredible race. It's point to point. Like I said, it's 26.2 miles from the town of Hopkin, I think it's the name, all the way into Boston City. and it's just it's amazing. But I'm looking forward to London. So I suppose then, just to recap some training, I went to Boston with a very loose plan about what I wanted to do, because I really just wanted to feel it out based on how tired I was and how much walking we were doing each day. I didn't want to kind of have a really rigid schedule. So we landed on Friday afternoon, and I got out for 47 minutes, 7 miles, 6:37 per mile. I remember feeling pretty good here. Probably the buzz of running around a new place, and yeah, just being in Boston on marathon weekend had a bit of a spring in my step. Saturday then I did 8 miles with some strides. I did I think 5 by 20 seconds on the track at Harvard University, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It was class. It really was class. And I mapped out all my routes when I was there on Garmin Connect, just so I was getting to experience, like, just so I wasn't doing boring running routes. I kind of mapped everything out, made sure I was running in some good spots. Then on Sunday morning, I got up. I wanted to do sort of an hour and a half to an hour and 35 minutes, and did 14 miles. And I actually did it along the last 6 miles of the marathon course. So I headed out of the apartment and turned left and went for, basically ran till Heartbreak Hill at about mile 20. And then I turned around and ran back all the way to the finish line on Boylston Street. And then I did a couple of laps around sort of the finishing area. And then I ran back to the apartment for 14 miles. 6:49 per mile, pretty relaxed, pretty chilled. Ran in the new Nike Vomero 18 as well, which I picked up whilst there, which were a lot cheaper actually in the Nike store in Boston. Yeah, well, I've wanted them for a while. And I was glad I got them, because they're a lovely shoe. They're quite cushioned, but they're also quite firm. So they're exactly what I like in a trainer. So really enjoying those at the minute. And I wore those for that 14 miler, and yeah, just nice and cruisy, nice and relaxed, nothing special, no fast running, no marathon paced work, nothing like that. Then Monday morning, it was just like, that was marathon morning. Got out early, 7:30, and the roads were all starting to get closed down at this stage. So I hopped into the marathon course and basically ran the last 3 miles of the marathon, jogged really slowly, the last 3 miles of the marathon, right to the finish line where the roads were shutting down. It was really special because there was people starting to gather at the finish line, to support at that time of the morning. So to be there, kind of the only runner on the course at that time, a few hours before everyone else would be, it was just kind of cool. It was quite a surreal moment. Ran through the finish line and then turned and jogged back home and got ourselves ready for a day of marathon spectating. So that was just a very easy 48 minutes. Tuesday was much the same. I did 43 minutes again, funny enough. It was a 10K run. I jumped onto the track and I did 4x400 meters at around, like, probably about half marathon pace, just relaxed, kind of, I would just call it rhythm and speed, sort of rhythmic speed, not trying to run super fast, not trying to run.
Just turn over the legs.
Just turn over my legs and just run about a mile at around that sort of half marathon pace. Then that was my last morning run in Boston. So that was Tuesday morning. We flew home Tuesday night, got home Wednesday morning. I headed out Wednesday afternoon just for another 6 miles. Actually, again, 43 minutes, which is kind of crazy. Just a jog, and I did some light fartlek at the end of that. So just 5 times about 30 seconds, sort of marathon pace or marathon effort, or slightly quicker, with about a minute just of steady running in between. And then today I got out for 33 minutes, 5 miles, 6:43 per mile. Starting to feel pretty good, and starting to feel like my legs are ready to race. So that's pretty much it, mate. That's the block done, and I'm very grateful to get to this point in a block, feeling healthy and feeling good. So can't wait to get to the start line on Sunday.
So obviously sound like you've handled, because I think I don't know if we spoke about this on air or off air at this point, but you said obviously that it's kind of traveling to Boston. Look, it's a lot closer to you than it is to me, but it's still what we'd consider quite a decent flight over, and it's a lot of travel on race week. So do you think that did at all impact kind of how I guess how you are physically? Do you think that had any detriment, or do you think you've just managed it so well, and because it's taper week, it kind of just didn't really matter almost?
Yeah, to answer your second question first, I think I've managed it really well. I think I'm at the point now where my body's ready to race, and or getting very close to be ready to race, and I don't feel tired. I don't feel like it's taking its toll, and I feel like my body clock is back to kind of regular. I was very conscious when we booked the flights that we would be home by the absolute latest Wednesday, sort of mid afternoon and no later, because we do fly to London tomorrow morning, Friday morning, and I just didn't want to be coming home and being really rushed and feeling like I was just catching my tail, So that was the first thing. Second thing is we flew home overnight. So by the time we were flying home, it was 11:30 Boston time, and we'd been going to bed, and I was sleeping from like 9:30, 9:45 each night in Boston. So I was banking good sleep whilst I was away, and then on the flight home, I was ready to sleep because it was later than what we'd been going to sleep in the evenings there. So I typically I'm really bad at sleeping on flights, but I did manage to get some quality sleep on the way home. Then I napped when I got home back in Ireland at home for about 2 hours. And then, like I said to you off camera, I think I slept for about 10 hours last night. So I feel like my body's back in check. The jog today, my legs felt pretty decent. I wouldn't say they felt amazing, but I mean, that's okay. It's not race day yet. And I distinctly recall going for a shakeout before my last marathon in London the day before the race and feeling horrendous, like my legs
Yeah.
feeling heavy and being like, oh my God, like what's going on here? But touch wood, my legs feel like they're really starting to want to run fast. So I feel like I've managed it well. I feel like I've managed the time difference as well. It's a 6 hour time difference. Like you said, it's a significant amount of travel. The travel went really smoothly, and yeah, I think I feel pretty good, and time will tell. I mean, if I have a bad race on Sunday, I'm not blaming the travel. Put it that way. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that's just not on. So I feel good, and I'm really looking forward to the race. And I would say next week I'll probably hit a brick wall and just want to sleep the week away.
Yeah. You're still pumped up on adrenaline, but yeah. Look, I guess the final question, and you said it towards the end there, as you were saying that you think you're nearly ready to race. So I guess what's now you've got Friday and Saturday to go. Will you do any running on those days? I presume you'll do something.
Yeah, I'm in two minds. Tomorrow I might rest, or if I feel a bit agitated and a bit tetchy, I might do like a 25 to 30 minute jog. I'll just see how I feel tomorrow. I mean, there's nothing to be gained. There's everything to be lost by doing something silly. So I'll just see how I feel tomorrow. We land in London about 10:30, 11 a.m. We'll go straight to the expo, pick up the number. We'll get to the accommodation. So I'm not prioritizing a run tomorrow. It'll just be like if I get to sort of mid afternoon, early evening, and I fancy a jog, I'll get out for a jog. Saturday morning, I'll get out for the shakeout. So I'll do probably about 20 minutes. I'll do some strides. I'll just keep myself quite limber and loose. Do a few drills that I like to do, just to make the body feel active and feel a little bit just shaken out. And that's it. Then I'm ready to go. So that's the block. It's go time.
And if you, I haven't even asked yet. Do you know where are you staying in London? Where are we
We're
this time?
staying close to Brixton, so South London.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was fairly well. It wasn't cheap, but it was fairly cheap in comparison to some of the other accommodations. It's also good because there's a kitchen available at the accommodation, and a bit more space. Because typically on race weekend, if we're going to be spending a lot of time in there, because I'm not going to be trapezing around the city on Friday or Saturday.
Nah, not at all.
Wasting my energy. So I wanted somewhere that had a little bit more space than just a hotel room. I didn't want to be cooped up in a hotel Friday, Saturday. So there's a bit of space. It's in a really nice looking neighborhood, and we'll just chill there. And the start line, I think, via the tube is about 40 minutes on race morning. So that's pretty okay for London. I know if you're in the city centre close to the finish, it's a similar commute to the start line in Greenwich. So there is a bit of logistics in London. I'm really glad that I've done it before, and I kind of know what to expect. Do you know, because with a major marathon, there's a lot of logistics, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of stuff to do, i.e. the expo, and like when you go to the city, there is just so much happening that to do with the marathon. It can be really easy to get swept up in it all. So the plan is just to get to that expo, get the number, get out of there, get to the accommodation and chill, and just not use up too much mental or physical energy. And mate,
Mhm.
I cannot wait. I just can't wait
Yeah.
to get on that start line and just soak it all in and just enjoy it. I'm buzzing, if you can't tell.
To be honest with you, like I'm psyched for Ballarat, and Ballarat's it's a small marathon. I know it's big here in Victoria. It's the second biggest as far as I'm aware after Melbourne, but I don't know. There's something hearing you talk about like this because Greenwich. I worked in Greenwich for a couple of years. I grew up not too far away. I've spent my life in London, so hearing you talk about the marathon there does get me kind of pumped. Like, man, I want to go home in the next couple of years and do that marathon. Um, but yeah, mate, I'm psyched for you. And I realized I think the start time is actually, it's not too late Sunday night for us. So what I might do is I might, I might be switching on, Sunday night after Ballarat to watch the boys and girls do their thing. But nah, man, I'm psyched for you, and I can't wait to see what goes down. Um,
What about you?
yeah,
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. So I actually need to catch you up on a little bit. I won't, training's been like similar to you. There's not any particularly exciting runs, but what did happen just over a week ago. So this was not the Wednesday just gone because it's Friday morning here. It was the Wednesday before. I was doing my routine resistance training session prior to my run. So on Wednesdays, I do a double day. I do some time in the gym in the morning, then kind of early afternoon, I go for a run. And I was doing some modified trap bar deadlift. Again, nothing special with weight. I've done this kind of hundreds of times, like nothing changed. And as I was going for like my final rep of my third final rep of my final set, I felt like a pull go down the bottom of my spine. And I've had a couple of back issues in the past, like ongoing since I was probably a late teenager. And I knew it wasn't anything serious because like I was still, I could move, but as soon as I felt this happen, I was like, your instinct is like drop to your knees and be like, okay, just make sure I'm not seizing up and I can still move, which I was fine. But I knew something was wrong, and I was fortunate enough that I could actually speak to Anth, who is my physio, who works out of my gym, within a couple of hours and get some treatment. But basically what I'd managed to do is, because I think my hamstrings were so tight, and I'm being attacked by a fly. It always
Can see
happens.
that.
Because my hamstrings were so tight, and potentially my posture had broken down a little bit, was one of the facet joints in my back was getting a lot of stress that it shouldn't have been getting, and it basically went into spasm. And I had a couple of very uncomfortable days on Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday morning, to the point where I wasn't panicking, but I was like, if this doesn't start to get better now, it's going to hinder me. And I'm the kind of person that I will run through it. And I didn't skip any runs. I didn't skip anything. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was in pain, but there was some discomfort. But yeah, had to go on some not heavy anti-inflams, but some like decently dosed anti-inflammatories for a couple of days, and stay on top of some rehab work. Please leave me alone, fly. And yeah, fortunately, come Saturday kind of afternoon, it was fine, and I'm still getting a little bit of treatment this week, but that was a little bit scary. Like not the last thing or that is the last thing you want 10 days out. But yes, since then it's been actually feeling really good. I was saying to you off air how always before any of my races, I get like phantom viral symptoms.
Yeah,
My gosh, please leave me alone, fly. 5, 6 days,
I can see
five,
it too.
mate. It's, you know what? We record in the evening sometimes, and there's always flies. It's 5 in the morning, and I'm still being
Still a
attacked by
fun.
flies. So I'm not doing too well here. But yeah, 5 or 6 days out from a marathon, I always feel like I get these viral symptoms. I know some people get like viral ghost injuries. For me, it's I'm getting sick. I guess it's a fear of mine. I'd rather be injured on race day than sick, believe it or not. Um, but then I've been going for my normal run, so it's very much a standard taper. I did like I think it was 8K on Monday. I did a treadmill session where it was just a couple of intervals at marathon pace, and then slightly faster than marathon pace. Like I'm talking a 45-minute session, including warm up and cool down, all up. Very easy. I also wore my race shoes for that. I wore the Adios Pro 4s. Normally I'm in the Alpha Flies, but I was like, I'm just going to spend some time in the race shoes to get
Good
to get
call.
used to them. And they felt good. Um, and then Wednesday we did six. Yeah, no, that was 8K. And that felt so quick. Like an 8K for me is was it six? It was one of them, but it was quick. It was nice, quick, like jog, Kenyan
Yeah.
shuffle, as we like to say. And then yesterday, Thursday,
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How sorry to interrupt you. It's funny
no, go.
how like 45-minute runs start to feel just so short because
Uh-huh.
you're used to like I'm used to doing maybe 70 to 75 minutes in the morning and 45 to 50 minutes in the evening on some days.
Exactly.
And then next
Yeah.
thing you know, you're doing a single 40 to 45-minute run. You're like it doesn't even feel. I know I don't mean this to sound the wrong way. I don't want it to sound the wrong way at all. But and sometimes the run actually feels crap. But what I mean is you're just like, what's the point in this? it's
No, I
it's
agree.
it's just such a short time whenever you're used to such high volume.
And for the record, that Wednesday run did feel crap. And I think I don't know why. Maybe it would have felt better if it was longer because it's always towards the end of that run. I was like, oh no, I'm kind of picking up my stride a little bit. But it's also hotter. Randomly, it's meant to be like transitioning into winter here, but it's suddenly like gone up in temperature again. It won't be like that on race morning because where we're racing, it's kind of different part of the state, so it's going to be a little bit colder, which is a good thing. But yeah, that was that, and then yesterday, so I moved Coach David moved my rest day from Saturday to Thursday. So I decided to do like a little recovery session. I had a sauna and an ice bath, and I did some contrast therapy, and I felt wonderful after that. I tell you what, that was good.
Yeah,
I'm a bit
nice.
I'm a bit deconditioned to the ice bath, to be honest. I've done 10 minutes in the past, but I was struggling at 2 minutes, so I had to go back and
That's
forward a
the
couple of
hardest part,
times.
though, isn't it? You know, it's that
Yeah,
initial 2 to 3 minutes of the ice is the toughest. I don't do it at all personally, but I have done it in the past, and I know oh man, the first 2 to 3 minutes is hell, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden it feels weirdly comfortable. Um, yeah, it's a funny one, but
yeah.
it sounds
I
like
do.
you're looking forward to Sunday, mate.
No, I'm buzzing, to be honest, because now all I've got to do, it's Friday morning today. It's a public holiday. I'll go for it's 6K today, so it must have been 8 on Wednesday. 6K again. That's like half an hour, just over half an hour. And then tomorrow's very similar to you. I think it's 3K, which will be about 15 minutes. Now I'll do a couple of strides to finish just to keep myself fresh. Plenty of foam rolling. I'll do some like scraping, just to keep everything limber. I'll do some stretching in the next couple of days and basically avoid stress. But no, honestly, the nerves come and go. Like I'll get like
Yeah,
flashes of nerves when I see stuff on Instagram. But the underlying underlying feeling isn't nerves. It's not I'm stressed, I'm anxious. It's meant I absolutely cannot wait
yeah,
to do my first marathon.
yeah.
And I've
That's
even
cool, man.
like
It's class.
I was like really like probably about a month ago, I was really overthinking things like food. I was like, oh, I've got to track everything out. I've got to do it by the gram. And I've just been like, it doesn't matter. Like I'm just gonna
You're just feeling it out.
100%. I'm just going
Yeah,
by feel. I've got my
that's the
plan
way,
for
man.
race day. And it's just about enjoying it. Like I'm not, there's no money at the end of any of this. There is a medal, but it's not like a first medal. So it's almost better that way because I can just go out,
100%. And man,
run
you're
my
just like you
race.
said, you know, your brain, I always tell people this, your brain is the biggest governor of all. And like just feeling it out day by day and doing what feels right for you in that moment is the best way. And, you know, carb load, that's the way. Yeah, of course, you want to have a certain amount in or a minimal amount, or, you know, you want to have a high carbohydrate diet, you know, but even just tomorrow, like not being completely attached to running tomorrow is big for me. You know, just feeling it out. If I fancy a run in the evening and need a little shakeout, I'll do 30 minutes. If I don't, happy days. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I do remember. You know, I think just to touch on this too, people really do overthink the taper. It's a time whenever people think, "Oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing?" Or like, "Is what I'm doing optimal?" And because I think what comes into play during the taper is your brain. you start to think, oh, I'm not freshening up in time, or things aren't right, or whatever else. Your brain starts to really play tricks. And then I've had a lot of questions because I've done a few videos recently about tapering, but like, it's about what worked for you. It's about you turning up to the race line both mentally and physically ready to go.
Mm.
From a training perspective, you can't do anything to gain more fitness in the final 10 days. What you can do is introduce unnecessary fatigue into the system in those last 10 days, which
Yeah,
is the risk. So if anything, I would always say err on the side of caution in the last 10 days. But
absolutely.
like, I've spoke to so many people who have tapered in so many ways successfully, and some of them do 2 sessions in race week. They run fast in sessions. Like I know athletes that have done things like 6x1K and a 4 mile marathon pace run in race week. And then you look at Paula Radcliffe, who is the world champion, sorry, the world record holder. She didn't run
Uh-huh.
on Friday and Saturday of race week. She didn't run
Yeah,
at all. She finished on
yeah,
Thursday and didn't do any. Like, you talk to most athletes now, they're running both Friday and Saturday of race week.
uh-huh.
She didn't run either days. So
Yeah, yeah.
she didn't do a shakeout. She didn't do anything. It's all about just finding what works for you and what literally makes you feel. I believe this. What makes you feel the most comfortable going into your race? You want to go into that race feeling comfortable and feeling as relaxed as possible. And of course, we can prime the body. There's little things that we can do to maybe help the body feel more comfortable at race pace, i.e. just reminding the body from a biomechanical and a mental standpoint, like what race pace feels like. But even on race day, it's going to feel totally different because you're rested and you're carb loaded and you've got adrenaline in your system. So I even have the argument for that like, is that beneficial? I mean, it probably is, but you know what I mean? It's just all of these little things that I think play around in people's heads. And this week for me, yes, I've had travel into the mix, which kind of throws another variable in there. But I've just felt the week out and tried to feel better each day and do less. And there's not much more to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said this before as well when we've been talking about your kind of personality, Adam. You're a very chill guy, to be honest with you. The chill guy meme comes to mind just because you are so look, it's going to be what it is, and I think that's
Do
definitely
you
a
know what,
trait
mate?
that is needed.
That is something that I haven't always had.
Mm.
Like, in my brain, I'm not chill.
Mhm.
Maybe I exhibit that, but
You project chill.
that it definitely hasn't been like that. I would have been a real overthinker in the past, and really analyzed everything and thought about every last detail in taper week. I think just experience changes things a lot.
Mhm.
Um, Experience changes things a lot. Also, just knowing yourself changes things a lot. And I think just the perspective that I've got over the last number of years has changed me a lot as a person. Um, so I think all of those things coupled maybe do result in a more chilled out vibe. And like I said at the start, or I can't remember if it was at the start or when we were chatting off air, I just feel really grateful to be. It might sound a bit cheesy, but I just feel really grateful to be at the end of a really good training block, healthy, and heading to London tomorrow morning to race the London Marathon. I mean, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's bloody cool. And likewise for you, you're healthy, you're fit, and you're going to Ballarat to run a race that you've had in your plan and in your diary for months. And I mean, like, that's class. That is just class. And not everyone has that opportunity and is healthy enough to have that opportunity. And there's people lying in hospital beds that would absolutely give their right arm or give everything to be in our position. So I just think
yeah.
you have to be really grateful and enjoy every second of it. And what will be will be. And no
I
one
think that's
cares. No one
yeah,
cares if you
also
run a if
true.
you run a time. Only we care. Only I
Yeah,
care about my time, and maybe maybe my mum.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like, no one else cares. In fact, my mum doesn't care. That's a fact.
Yeah, true.
She just wants me to be healthy. only
Yeah,
only we care. I mean, I care about your time, but you know what I mean.
I care about your time as well, Adam. Don't worry.
We'll edit this bit out, man.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
no,
mean.
definitely not.
We just I just think that's the only attitude to go into races with, and I've been telling all my athletes this, and maybe people might think to themselves when they hear this, like, would you ever shut up about being grateful for just running a race? But that's the way I see it, and that's the way I feel about it. And I just think that's the best way to frame it, because for me, that's how it is. And I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, look, I'll just, without getting too soppy and too spiritual, I'll add to that and just kind of, I guess not add to it. I'll piggyback off it. But I think at the end of the day, something that's really helped me, because I'm like, I know we're talking about you being maybe a little bit more chill, but for me at least, I get very anxious. I do a lot of overthinking in these kind of circumstances, especially when it's a new experience. So over the last kind of 20 or so days, I've definitely been like going out of my way to spend more time doing meditation and just kind of recenter the self. And like you said, I think the one thing that has helped me, because again, it's not like, oh, I meditate, therefore it's instantly fixed, but it's more a case of, okay, I'm just getting myself used to, instead of worrying about what's going to happen and something that at the end of the day is arbitrary in the grand scheme of things, it's all about no, just bring yourself back to now, enjoy this process, because you're right. Like, how often do you get the chance to say, oh, I'm 2 days out from running a marathon. I feel great. I'm in a wonderful position. And yeah, perspective is key. Just kind of bring yourself back to now, really, because like I said,
100%.
there's no people like jokingly talk to me, because obviously I've placed in both the races I've run, more reflection on the races I've run than me potentially, but nonetheless, they're like, "Oh, are you going to win this one?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." And that's fantastic because it means there's no pressure. There's no pressure. It's like I'm going to be running with hundreds of other people that are going for the same or similar times than me. And it's about kind of togetherness as opposed to, okay, I'm actually like racing in the literal sense, because there might be
Couldn't
some
agree
racing
more.
towards the end, but I don't have to worry about beating people because I get literally nothing from that. I get to enjoy my race, do the best I can, and 100% perspective, man. Just be grateful that you're out there, to anyone listening who's maybe like struggling with nerves as well. Yeah, big takeaway.
Yeah, and we'll probably be sitting this time. We'll probably be sitting here this time next week. Sorry, wishing we could do it all again. Do you know? So
100%.
it's so important, like you said, to bring yourself back to that now and be like, I have it all ahead of me right now, and I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, that's the only way to look at it. And I would tell anyone that's racing a marathon this weekend or next, because I know Belfast is on. There's London and Manchester this weekend, and we have Belfast the following weekend. I also have an athlete doing an ultra marathon this Sunday in Connemara
Fantastic.
here in Ireland. So whether
Yeah.
it's any of those races and you're listening, it's like, yeah, just remember how lucky you are to be in this position. And like when I was in Boston on the weekend, the amount of people that I seen and just speaking to people that wished they were in the shoes of those running, you know, even
Mm,
non-runners that were like,
mm,
how cool are those people that are inside the ropes doing that? Just remember, like, you're going to be, if you're running a marathon, that is, you're going to be that person that
mm.
others are looking in awe at you. Regardless of your finishing time, by the way, like, you are running a marathon and people respect that and people think that's really cool who are outsiders.
100%. Yep.
Um, and yeah, I think that's the thing about marathon running too. Like you mentioned, it's not quote unquote racing. There is a togetherness with it, and you're in this together with the
Mhm.
others that are around you. And that's also class, you know. I can't wait to, like I mentioned on previous episodes, there's a big group of Irish runners heading across, I think all targeting similar times. And I hope we can all form a pack or a group for at least a good portion of the race and run together. And, you know, I have this vision in my head of maybe 10 or 11 Irish lads who kind of know each other from just Irish running, being together, and I hope it kind of works out, because that would be something else on the streets of London. It really would.
Yeah. It's something about representing your country as well that gets you like fired up, man. Like it's only now that I live in Australia that when I meet another English person, even if they're from like up north or something, I'm like, yeah, mate, we're English. We should
Yeah.
stick together. So
But even
I can only imagine.
but even just the camaraderie together, do you know, like, just sharing the roads with those lads that you know, and just uh, that to me is just that's class. Like, that's what it's all about. And I've been looking forward to getting on the start line with those lads more than anything else throughout this build, and even sharing a pint with them after the race. That is to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
what this is all about. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I don't know how I'm going to wind down and go to sleep now after this.
Mate, yeah, we've kind of got too amped up here, but look, I mean, the plan was to keep this one short and sweet because obviously you do have to get off to bed prior to traveling to London. But I guess before we head off and start to count down the sleeps before the race, is there
Yeah,
anything
this is our Christmas Eve, isn't it?
it feels like it, to be honest with you, even though we're a couple of days out. But is there any final thoughts you had or anything you wanted to leave
Um,
people with?
No, I suppose like what I just mentioned, I suppose what my final thoughts were around that gratitude for racing and to get to the stage of a marathon block, fit, healthy, and strong, and ready to run a marathon, mentally, physically, all of those things. So that was pretty much it, mate. I suppose one thing is are you going to be carb loading today, or will you wait
Yeah.
until tomorrow?
Fantastic question. So what my plan is I don't want to overdo the food because again, my calorie expenditure's been down all week, and I don't want to be kind of like I don't want to be in too much of a surplus. So today, what I will do is I will begin to replace protein and fats with and fiber for that matter with just kind of I guess accessible carbs. So where I'd normally have kind of 40, 50 grams of protein with breakfast, I might only have 20 and I'll replace that with 20 grams of carbs. And I'll do that through today. And then tomorrow it'll be that, but maybe like a little bit more of a surplus. So instead of just eating my normal diet, I might throw in a little bit extra. And I'll probably
Will you
have, mm,
will you aim for a specific number of carbohydrates? No.
now, I mean, I do have a tracked day where it shows me, I think it was 4.5 grams per kilo of body weight of carbs. So I know roughly what an ideal amount is. And spoiler alert, it's quite a lot of carbs. And to be honest, I thought it would actually leave me feeling quite full. So I'll use my spreadsheet as a guide, but it might just mean I sip on a carb drink during the day. Maybe I have a slightly, bigger breakfast and I'll probably end up just like snacking on rice cakes or corn cakes because they sit really well with me. Um, so I will be carb loading, but it's not going to be a scientific I'm not going to be weighing things out. I don't want to overthink it. And if something feels like it's getting a bit heavy or I'm feeling full, I'm going to dial it back. Um, what about you, mate? Is that similar?
Yeah, I will carb load tomorrow on Saturday. I'll probably again I'll not be tracking anything, but I'll just be smashing all of the carbs. Um, I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. I kind of know not to eat too much sugar because it leaves me feeling like I risk the stitch when I eat too much sugar, and it just doesn't leave me feeling great. It doesn't leave me satiated as well. So I'll have the bag of the Henry Hippos on hand, and we also discovered a brand new sweet in America that we brought some home. So I'll be having a few of those. For anyone that doesn't, or for anyone that I don't know has been to the States, they're from Trader Joe's and they're called Scandinavian Swimmers. So they are
Mm,
serious. You want to get on
sounds
those? They are.
sounds ambiguous.
It does a bit. They're a funny name, but mate, they are absolutely unreal. If you're from the UK or Ireland and you've had fizzy fish, they compare to fizzy fish, but they're thicker and just have a better texture, is what I would say. They're delicious. So I'll be on those a little bit, but not too much. I'll probably still have a bit of half bag. Um, and then it'll be rice, porridge, bagels, probably some like fruit loaf toasted with jam, honey.
Ooh.
I'll have a Morton drink tomorrow, and I'll have a Morton drink on race morning as well. I'll probably have a Morton drink, sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday, and then a caffeine Morton drink on race morning. But yeah, I'll carb load tomorrow and Sunday. I do, sorry, tomorrow and Saturday. My head's away. I don't try to like, um, again, I just do it on feeling. Like I have a massive appetite, especially when I'm running high volume, and my appetite naturally doesn't be as much
Mm.
around this time when I'm just not, like you said, not expending as much energy. So what I find is like my main meals stay the same in terms of portion size, and everything else. But my snacks, I don't really seem to be as snacky around my
Mm.
meals. So I'm not eating like as much like yogurt and fruit between meals, or like squares bars, which are like Rice Krispie squares, cereal bars. That kind of thing. I don't find myself like reaching for as much of that. But basically for tomorrow and Saturday, it'll just be it'll just be carbs after carbs, white varieties, no whole grains, and just eating pretty much as many as I can comfortably fit in. It's as simple as that. You know, I do want to aim to try and get 7 to 10 grams per kilo of body weight, and I kind of know what that looks like. So that'll be Friday and Saturday.
Will you completely avoid things like veggies and fiber completely?
Not completely. I'll avoid nuts and seeds like that I would usually have sprinkled over my porridge or
Mm.
over my like yogurt. I'll not have any yogurt actually. I'll swap that out for maybe porridge or pancakes or something. But I'll have a few vegetables. I'll maybe have a few peppers and some tomato with my dinner. I'll not have like green veg and lots of fiber. And I also like to have maybe a bit of avocado with my dinner because I find that leaves me feeling a bit fuller. So, when you're eating like rice and say something like chicken, I find like half an avocado with that just satisfies me a bit more.
Yeah.
So I'll probably chuck that in just with my dinner when I'm having like my final meal. I always find like a couple of eggs help with that as well. So if you're really like, if you're like me, a lot of people find like once they get so many carbohydrates in the system, they just feel like they can't eat anymore. I'm kind of the opposite. If I eat nothing but carbs, I don't really get full. So a couple of eggs or half an avocado with a couple of my meals really helps me feel that fullness. So I'll
Hmm.
probably have those with the dinner. But again,
Yeah, fantastic.
I'll be pretty much avoiding fiber. I'll be eating no whole grains. I know oats is considered a whole grain, um, I think, but I'll not be eating
Yeah,
crazy amounts of like high fiber cereals or
sure.
whole grain breads or pastas or rice. It'll be all the white varieties.
Yep, yep. And
That's pretty much it.
final question, just for my intrigue. Race morning, are we? What's the plan with that?
I'll either have a bowl of porridge with
Mhm.
some honey and a banana, or plus my Morton drink, or I'll have a tin of rice pudding.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I was eating like ambrosia rice pudding for some of my key marathon long runs, and it sat really well. And I had it before both Bohermeen half marathon and Dublin City half marathon, just for pure convenience. Like you just open a
Mm.
tin and eat it in your bed if you want, and you can have it down you in 5 minutes, and it's 400 calories. So I might have that just for simplicity.
Mhm.
There's no preparation or anything like that. So I'll either have that or the porridge. I'll decide on race morning. What about you?
And I mean, I go super light, so I haven't done much. I'll probably end up having some like thick corn cakes with bananas. I'll probably have one or two bananas, depending on how big they are. Um, yeah, because I'm not particularly hungry because this will be eaten at like 5 a.m. and I probably could get some oats and porridge down me, but I'd just rather stick with because I've done toast in the past and I find that the bread's maybe a bit heavy, so I'll probably just keep to a few rice corn cakes with some bananas, maybe a little bit of peanut butter or agave syrup on top, and then do you coffee in the morning to like get things woken up or?
If I take the Morton caffeine drink, no.
Mhm.
If I don't take the Morton caffeine drink, yes, I will have coffee, but I plan on having the Morton caffeine, so I
Yeah,
probably won't have a caffeine. Sorry, I probably won't have a coffee on the morning of the race. If there was an espresso machine where we're staying, I would probably have a quick single espresso with my breakfast.
yeah,
Um, but
that's
because I'm
probably what
having
I'll
that
do.
Morton caffeine drink, I don't need any extra caffeine because I'll have that, and then I'll also have um 2 or 3 caffeine gels in the race, probably
Mhm.
two.
Yeah.
So that's going to be enough caffeine for anyone.
Plenty. Yeah, I think what I'll do normally I go for a double espresso like as soon as I wake up, but I think I would just keep it to a single because I know what will happen is I'll get jitters, I'll need to go to the toilet. So I think I'll keep it at one and then I won't caffeinate during the runs. I've just not practiced it. But I think I'll be so amped up with adrenaline. I think caffeine will probably just push me over the line a bit. So
That's it. And I mean, if you haven't practiced with it, there's probably not much point. But where a caffeine gel, I think, can help is towards the back end of that marathon when
mhm.
adrenaline's wearing very, very thin. But again,
Yeah.
it's worth practicing because caffeine's a diuretic, like we know, and that can cause more problems than it's worth if you haven't
Yep.
practiced it. But
100%.
what is the marathon fueling plan for the actual marathon
Um
itself?
I think I'll take 8 or 9 gels with me on the morning. I've just got the Morton 100s. I realized I actually ran out of my Morton 160s, so that's my bad. But I think I'll probably have one every 5K or 20 minutes or so. So it'll end up I'll have one on the start line, and then it will be every 20 minutes. That should
It's 60 grams per hour.
60 grams per hour, yep. And if at all I feel like they're not sitting well, I'll just change that number. I'll push it out. Or if I need extra, and then I'll probably just because hydrating something I don't do or I haven't done on my long runs unless it's been kind of 30 degrees, which a few of them have. So I'll just hydrate to fill. So I'll just take a water cup as and when I need them. But I won't take any of it because they've got Fixed Nutrition is the sponsor, and I think they're giving out carb drinks as you go. But I won't touch those unless I'm truly desperate. Same for their gels. I've just not. they've got dextrose. I'm not really used to dextrose because Morton's glucose fructose. So unless I'm like truly, truly desperate, I won't touch their nutrition. It'll just be water.
That's a good point, actually, we should make. And a piece of advice for anyone is that if you are on a marathon course and you have your fueling strategy in place and you have enough gels, I wouldn't touch the carbohydrate drinks that are possibly being handed out. Don't be tempted to drink. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, isn't that the saying? But
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
don't be tempted
exactly.
to drink like the Gatorade or the Lucozade Sport or whatever, unless you're all out of gels and you're towards the end of the race and you really feel like your energy,
Yeah,
you feel
risk
like you're hitting
versus
a wall.
reward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you've already got enough, you've already allowed for enough carbohydrates to be taken on board. So to add even more on top of that, you're just risking stomach distress. And then to take a product that you haven't even tried before, you're just playing with fire. And your gut is in a very sensitive spot when you're running. So just don't take that risk. As you say, the risk isn't worth the reward. If you're desperate, by all means. If you feel like you've got a really strong stomach, by all means. If you don't want to listen to
yeah,
me, by all means. But
yeah,
yeah, it's probably not worth the risk. And on the waterfront, like drinking to thirst is the way. Just drink to
100%.
thirst. Let your brain be the governor. And if it is warm, douse some water over your head or the back of your neck, or even I think sometimes on the wrist is a good spot. It can sort of give you that perception of coolness. I always find just getting some water down the back of my kind of neck, it does help me when I'm particularly hot, or even over the top of my head. Yeah, that's the way. Because London is actually given to be pretty warm on Sunday. We haven't
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about that, and I'll just touch on it very briefly, because I'm trying not to think too much about the things that I can't control. But I think London is due to get up to 20 or 21, sort of Sunday mid to late morning. So it could be a warm race, which may result in certain I'm just going to fill it out and see what we get on the day. When I'm on that start line, I'll be making a decision, as opposed to, I kind of know what the plan is for optimal weather, and I know what the plan is for hot weather, and I'll fill it out like we've just been talking about for a while. But that's the thing with water and heat is drink to thirst and keep yourself as cool as possible by getting some water over the head if you can. And there's not much else to it, but don't pour sports drink over your head. You'll end up a
Do not
sticky
do
mess.
that.
It's not
You
very
may
pleasant.
you'll be being attacked by flies like me.
I've did that before. I grabbed the drink and I thought it was water, and yeah, put it all over myself and realized
Oh,
that it
mate,
wasn't water. Yeah, it was
horrible.
grim, absolutely grim.
There you go. Well, to be honest, that's words to leave you by. Don't pour sports drink over yourself during a race, especially not a marathon when you've got quite a long time to go. But look, Adam, I can see it's getting dark behind you. I think it probably is a good time to wrap up so you can get some beauty sleep and be fresh come your, what are you laughing? Come your trip to London in the morning. But look, guys, it's been a really fun chat, and I think if nothing else, this has got us both really amped up for Sunday. So yeah, our plan is we'll probably do a race recap this time next week. Or I guess it'll be the week after the race, because this will go out. We'll try and get this out to you. This might go out before we race or on race
We should
morning
get this out
potentially.
before a race, I think, if we
Yeah, I
can.
think we can. I think we can. That should be fine. But then we'll do a race recap as quickly as we can thereafter. But look, guys, as always, if you've enjoyed the pod, again, please take the time to share this to your friends, anyone who you know might be interested, because it really does go a long way in promoting what we do. And we don't make anything from the podcast. We just want to get as many people out there listening as we can. So that would mean the world to us. But if you are racing over the weekend or even the next week or so, just want to say good luck to you guys as well. If you ever need any tips, you're always welcome to reach out to myself or Adam, and we're always happy to help where we can. But otherwise, we hope you have a great whatever day it is in your area, and we're looking forward to checking in again soon. Thanks, guys.